Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Jodo Cast, your Star Wars gaming podcast. This is episode 140. My name is Evan Lewis. I am, of course, joined by the Kirk to my Spock. It's Leo Andry.
Well, thanks for letting me be Kirk.
Well, of course, I'm the logical one. And, of course...
I'm the one who just punches lizards and kisses all the babes.
Exactly. I mean, that's what your...
Kisses lizards
that's
and punches
that's the title of your biography. And, of course, we wouldn't be here without the Geordie to my data. It's Joe Latovsky.
Okay.
I mean, that's good, right?
I mean, he's cool as far as... I don't know them much. I know he's cool, and he's the guy with the hairband over his eyes.
It's LeVar Burton. Come on. You can't say that's not great.
He's cool. I don't know anything else about him. I assume
he is
he's a cool
super
guy.
cool, except when he, like everybody else, at some point falls in love with a hologram. But hey, who hasn't?
Yeah, it's a little creepy.
And
who hasn't?
And we are happy to be joined on the permanent, because I'm calling it right here, right now, our first hire / parentheses unpaid permanent intern. Like the rest of us, we are all unpaid interns here. It's a literally not for profit. We've got, let's see here, Deep Space Nine. He's wondering who he's gonna be. Let's say, I know, the Quark to my Odo. There you go. That's a good one. It's Kurt Larson.
Finally, some diversity on this podcast.
I know. It's like we don't have enough bespectacled, bearded white men. Leo. Yeah,
Leo,
get some
you
glasses,
need some
Leo.
You don't fit in.
Even if they're fake. Get yourself a Geordie visor.
I did. I used to wear fake glasses.
Oh,
I did.
Did you also used to walk around or wheel yourself around in a wheelchair?
Yes. No,
yeah.
that was
no.
That was
I had some non-prescription.
That was back in his
for like a year or so.
Duct tape bracelet days, full of deer blood, right? Deer blood duct tape bracelets.
Yes.
Okay. Just gonna let that one. I don't know
if we did.
That's it. That's the story.
That's it. It's at least been discussed on Mazda
yes,
Radio.
It was on.
If you really want to go back in the archives.
For now, I'm going to just picture like a blood bag you'd get at the hospital or whatever, strapped to your wrist like sort of a gauntlet, but it's used to basically you would backhand somebody with it. It would explode like a ketchup packet, and then people would assume worse things had happened. And I'm not sure why you'd want to do that, but that's what I'm imagining, and I think that's the story I'm going to stick to.
That's how you survive North Dakota State University.
Yeah, you gotta slap them with the deer bag.
You got your choice. You got the deer blood in one hand, you got the doe urine in the other. You take your pick.
Little bit of, they call it the old red and yellow.
Oh, gosh. Wow. Wow. That's going on a t-shirt. That'll be our first t-shirt for the collector series.
I think the
Yes.
show I'm working on right now might have a lot of ripe for t-shirt things, but I can talk about that later.
Okay. Well, we should point out, now that we've already mentioned blood and urine, that this show is made possible by listeners like you over at patreon.com/thejodocast. And if you want to know how you can have your name emblazoned with the rest of the glorious people over there at Patreon, and you can support people like us to, pay our website hosting bills and podcast hosting bills, and occasionally be like, hey, this game came out, we need to be able to, play it and tell people whether it's good or not. Can I please have some money?
You know what? I will say I am... So I'll mention what I was talking about. I'm basically just working on a new quiz show for you three to play with me. And I'm going to enlist some of our patrons to play test it with me before I dump it on you three, because I want to figure out the scoring rules. So that's another good reason to become a patron, because you'll be able to play this game with me before Kurt, Leo, and Evan get to play it.
You get to be a guinea pig.
Yeah. I need to play test the scoring system. Also, hit me up on Discord if you are interested in doing that. Otherwise, I'll be reaching out soon. It's almost ready.
You too can receive mass emails from Joe. But I mean, we should mention that as a patron, you definitely help drive the content of this show. It's not just, I'm going to give these jokers some money so they can pay their bills, but you get to help inform what we talk about, where we go, and who gets to eventually promote themselves to the upper middle management of the Jodo cast. And you can be listening to us right now, this very instant.
Live.
You can pipe live before an audience of a couple, and you can make your voice heard in the Star Wars gaming zeitgeist. So a niche within a niche within a niche.
The elite of the elite.
Yeah, that's right. Best of the best of the best, sir, with honors. Men in Black. I'm still on that tonight.
I was wondering what the...
Okay. I want to do a what we've been playing, just so that Kurt can chime in and tell us everything he's been doing. I know Joe does a lot. I know Leo is adding to the pile. I think that's what he's been up to.
I did find some I was cleaning my office a little bit, and I found some boxes that were not in my stack, so they've been added to the stack, so it's even taller. I have played some Legion. I can't remember, had we done the tournament? Have we talked about me playing in the tournament?
I don't think so.
No. Our store had
I don't think so.
Our local store had a tournament. I should say our local store, I ran it. I set it up. I did it all.
And you took first place.
No.
Everyone else was disqualified by the judge.
Yep.
For collusion against the judge.
As I think I've mentioned, one of our local players is Josiah. How does he say his name? Burkhardsmeister? Something like that. Yeah. Former Armada World Champion, Invader League top finisher, Gen Con Legion Tournament champion, etc.
I'm still a Armada Store Championship winner.
Yeah, lucky you.
The plaque is still on my wall after all these years.
That's a good one too.
You can see it if you're in the other thing we forgot to mention is, in addition to watching us live, patrons can see an unedited version of the episode on YouTube. Only for them.
But tournament was a lot of fun. It was like the biggest turnout we've had. Like, we actually had more people turn out for this tournament than we did for the last, like, what the heck were they called? The Grand Prix or whatever stupid ass name they gave the tournaments that would qualify you for Worlds.
Wait, you mean way back?
Yeah, back before.
I say.
Well, it was way
before
back.
Times.
Before that last one pre-pandemic. I can't remember what they called them anymore.
Who knows?
Like, whatever dumb name they gave them.
But this was like 10 people or something?
Store championships.
We had 12 players.
And based on the pictures, it looked like some new faces for sure, too. So
Yeah, we had a group come down from Grand Forks, a couple local people who hadn't participated before.
They didn't get flooded yet, huh?
So, yeah, that was really cool. And I got to play some Outer Rim finally for the first time. Woo! So, and I played a shit ton of Elden Ring, but that's not Star Wars gaming.
Did you like Outer
Rim?
Yeah,
it was fun. I liked it a lot.
Well, that's fortuitous to hear.
And I played...
Gives me an idea for an episode.
Yeah.
I played some Outer Rim as well with Leo.
What?
Yeah, because it was Kurt who taught me how to play.
Yeah, we played a couple games. It was good. Leo won both games, too, he didn't mention. So there were some...
That's how I always feel. Every time I teach someone a game, I get raffle stomped. I'm just like, but I know how to play.
First one was actually pretty close. It was, Jyn Erso versus Boba Fett. That was pretty close. And then the second one, Leo was way ahead the whole time with a combo of Afra and Psy Snoodles, and he was getting so many points. And I was trying to do bounties as IG-88 could not keep up, and it was fun, though.
Wow. That's what I keep hearing.
It's good. I have not played Outer Rim recently.
But you have played it before.
I feel like I've played... Yes. There is video proof of it.
Could be a deep fake, though.
Also...
Now you say you haven't played that recently, and yet it seems like your video output on YouTube that people can watch has been extraordinarily robust lately.
Well... Not with Outer Rim, with other things. I'm trying to think of which of them have I played since we last did what we've been playing. I played Revenge of the Sith for Xbox, which I loved, and I loved it so much I did a video review of it, which I like how it turned out. I played some Jedi Starfighter on Xbox, which was super boring and dumb, and I didn't get very far.
Oh yeah, and I played some Jedi Fallen Order, too.
Oh yeah.
That's right. What we made a video out of.
That's a good one. I played Jabba's Palace, the love letter game, which is pretty cool. And I played Star Wars Spot It. Or Mandalorian Spot It, I should say.
I bought that Jabba's Palace game, even though I don't like love letter at all.
Yeah, you don't.
But the game store had a one with a damaged packaging that they were selling for half off, so I decided to buy it.
Oh. Well, my recommendation would be shoot for around 4 players. I played it with 6 players, and there was never an elimination win scenario. And then I played it with 3 players. And you typically, the other 2 always get eliminated, but it tends to be more fun. Unless, I mean, the game can feel pretty cheap. You know, the person who goes first says, I bet you got this number, and you're right, and they're out, and it depends. It's a kind of a silly game that can feel unbalanced, which is fine. Because it's fast. But I like it. I think that's everything I played.
Go, Kurt. Your first ever, what have you been playing?
Yeah, I already said Outer Rim, and that was all, actually. Right. I didn't have any others. I haven't played anything recently, so, yeah.
You've played nothing else. Nothing at
all.
all.
A little painting, but not that much Star Wars stuff lately. I started on some Wookiees, though, so I'm back into Star Wars, so...
I was going to say, yeah, you were working on those guys recently.
Those little robot dudes, you could proxy them into Star Wars. Make that be your separatist army. Bunch of those guys.
Yeah. Just tell someone. These are unreleased droid units.
These are all my B2s.
You didn't know about these? Like, you're not a very good Legion player if you haven't seen these new releases yet. Jeez.
I mean, I feel like I could very easily proxy space orcs as Gamorreans.
Yeah.
I mean, it's close enough. Everyone loves Gamorreans, right?
Everyone loves throwing Gamorreans off cliffs.
That's right. So there you go. See, well, because I'm getting all excited for Shadow Collective. So we need more frontline troops to take the shots for us. So that's what Gamorreans.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll get them eventually in Legion as a Shadow Collective unit. Probably not, but maybe could happen.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him as a Wookiee-esque sort of like Wookiee warrior equivalent in Shadow Collective.
Would you prefer Book of Boba Fett Gamorrean sculpt or Return of the Jedi Gamorrean sculpt? Friar Tuck or like wrestling man?
I feel like you'd
UFC man, not wrestling.
I feel like
man.
You'd split the difference somehow, maybe, and kind of sort of hint at both. I don't know. I like them both.
You could since there were just two of them in Boba's retinue, which seems like not many. If you're going to have a retinue of Gamorreans,
the rest of them retired or something.
Make the rest of them just like the nameless thugs, and then have the two be like the two elites, like with Inferno Squad. Oh
yeah, upgrade. Like heavy weapon upgrade. And I would want one of them to be Jodo-verse character Thok. Thok is the Gamorrean that's playable in Masters of Teräs Käsi. So he is part of the Jodo-verse.
Yeah, that'd be a good deep cut.
Oh, that's right.
I feel like Luke Eddy would have put a deep cut like that. He
does also appear in the CCG also. Thok. Yeah, well, it's a duo card. It's Thok and Thug together.
Oh. Thug is a boring name compared to Thok.
So boring. I was going to say, he's not the one that was carrying around that dead body the whole time, telling everyone he was meditating, was he? From Tales from Jabba's Palace. That's like the best story in the whole book.
I don't remember that one.
He found a dead body, and everyone was like, "Why are you carrying a dead body around?" Like, he's meditating. It's okay. It's okay.
The body was meditating.
I don't remember that story at all.
Oh, it was such a good one.
Exclusive announcement: new patron-only spin-off show. Evan summarizes old Star Wars stories for us.
I remember, Bib getting his brain put in a Bomar monk.
Yeah.
I remember that guy wanting to run off with six boob lady.
Oh,
and
Yarna.
And she's all like, I only look like this because I'm retaining lots of water because I'm on a desert. But if we go to a wet planet, I'll lose weight and be all hot. And he's like, yeah.
Oh my God.
Did you know that Yarna Del Gargan played at Han and Leia's wedding?
Wait, is this the
and
wedding?
And named her children after them?
But was she skinny and hot, though? That's the question.
Yeah, where was it?
I don't... Hold on. I mean, yeah, let's see. Later life.
They got married on Endor, right?
Oh, in fact, she even danced the dance of 70 violet veils at the wedding of Han Solo and Leia Organa, where she would be spotted by a designer and become a model for his jeweled brazier. She had 2 daughters named Luca and Leia after Luke and Leia. Yarna's children became a jizz swing band, and together they toured the galaxy. The wedding of Han and Leia in question was on Coruscant 6 weeks after the Battle of Dathomir.
Okay, so we're talking courtship of Princess Leia with the pirates and the witches and the Rancors and everything. And horny lady number 1 tries to get with Luke.
Anyway, I don't remember how we got here. You were talking about Gamorreans, Jabba's Palace, Tales of...
man.
Yep.
Leo remembered that story.
We're way off the rails here. Let's talk about Outer Rim again.
Yeah, we're talking about the...
Welcome, Kurt, to the Off the Rails, a Star Wars gaming podcast. You know what? I'm the only one that's not played... Yes, Joseph?
I was just making an analogy. We're like the Pike train in Book of Boba Fett. Off the rails. Because it doesn't have rails, because it's a desert. Anyways.
That's right.
Crashing and burning, we're like the Pike train in Book of Boba Fett.
I thought you say we're like the movie Hackers. Crash and burn. All right. I've not played Outer Rim yet. Because, well, I can never guarantee when I'm going to be able to play games with people. And when I do get to it's like, okay, we're playing RPGs. That's final. So, you know what? I'm going to very gently pass these reins over to Joe and say, yeah!
Okay. The other day, a Polish website called rebel.pl. I will accept your cookies, Polish website. They posted the product posting for the expansion that was announced
September.
I don't know, last fall. Called Unfinished Business, and they posted the product listing, and so we got a handful of new pictures, and we were like, ooh. And then we also noticed there was basically every other bit of information you could want, which we will get to, but let's go through the images we got first, because they're pretty. So 8 new playable characters are coming to the game. We suspected Dengar would be a playable character. I had previously sleuthed that Enfys Nest was coming to the game. She will, in fact, be a playable character. So the new playable characters are Dengar, Enfys Nest, Cad Bane, Black Chrysanthemum, Hera, Maz, and Hondo. And also Chewbacca. Chewbacca wasn't in the pictures, but I did find a mention of him being a playable character in the rule book, because they posted the entire rule book. I'm assuming that this company website, whatever, was not supposed to have dumped the entire rule book and all this information, because there's still no official... This information doesn't exist on the Fantasy Flight website.
You're right. There's a reference to Chewbacca taking player actions as one of the examples. That's some good sleuthing that you can only find on the JodoCast.
Interesting to me that Hera is a playable character because, I mean, she's not really a scoundrel. It'll be very funny to play as Hera and like get positive reputation with the Empire.
But she did a lot of smuggling, you know.
Maybe she
did smuggling and things, and
yeah. I guess you can just pretend it's
an
like
alternate universe where
DL,
she
like
didn't end up liking the rebels for some reason. I don't know. That's kind of like all the things that happen in Outer Rim are pretty alternate universe, interesting, weird stuff.
Yeah.
Crew.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I've had a game that ended with Han Solo standing up from his pilot seat, walking to the back of the ship, shooting Chewie in the face, turning in the bounty, and then winning.
Isn't that the alternate ending of Force Unleashed 2?
Close.
I have a question, quick. This is a super basic, never played the game question. The characters, are they like locked to their canonical ships?
No.
Or can you have any character on any ship?
You
any character on
everyone
any ship.
Starts with
start
a
with like
shitty starter ship, and then you have to get credits, and then you can buy a ship, whatever. And those all start as like a generic fire spray or a generic YT-1300 or whatever. And then they all have a ship goal, and if you meet that goal, the ship upgrades to like a named version, the Millennium Falcon or the Slave One or whatever.
But the nice thing is, like, Like usually they go together really well, even though you don't automatically get it. You're kind of incentivized to get the thing that works with you. Crew especially will be like, oh, if you're Han Solo, you get Chewbacca for free, versus other people have to trick him or whatever, pay him money, whatever.
Because what I was thinking of when, again, haven't played, don't know all the ins and outs, but when you said it's kind of funny for Hera to be in there, I was like, well, who else could they have? Kira has been present and active in the comics lately, right?
Yes.
So she's still around. She's more than a single appearance character. Could she be in? But then I was like, well, what ship would she have? Are there limitations on the characters, basically, is the question.
It sounds like, despite getting 8 new characters, we're only getting 6 new ships. I'm looking at the components list, and the translation says 6 ship plans, which I assume
cards,
means the ship sheets. So I would assume that Chewbacca doesn't get a new ship, and then maybe Maz doesn't have one. But even the others, I mean, Hera and Cad Bane and Dengar, they have ships.
Yeah,
that would
like
make sense.
Black Chrysanthemum, I don't know if he had one that was specific to him, though we could get a generic, whatever it's called, Azatuk gunship or something, maybe. But yeah.
Hondo would easily just get one of those like flying saucers.
I could see that, and I would. It seems guaranteed.
Well, he had a ship in Rebels too.
He stole a couple.
He stole Vizago.
Like I could see a Sea Rock being in here as one of the options, and you flip it to Vizagos. Maybe that would be cool. It seems.
Enfys Nest just gets her swoop bike that has a hyperdrive.
And it seems like guaranteed that one of them would be the Ghost VCX 100, because that's not in it yet, and that would be such a great choice.
Yeah, and obviously also Dengar would get the punishing one. And we do see Cad Bane's, whatever his ship is called. We see that in the other image. We see the punishing one, Jumpmaster.
5,000.
I thought it was
5,000. Jumpmaster 5,000.
No, it's a 5,000.
Yeah, and
Jumpmaster 2000 must be like something from the 90s.
It's one that's like the exact shape, but a different scale. They always do that. They're like, oh, okay, we have to explain this scale difference. But yeah, we have that.
I can't wait for the Jumpmaster 10,000.
We have the Jumpmaster in this image, and we have the Rogue class Porax 38 Starfighter, which was Cad Bane's Xanadu
Porax?
Blood.
Sounds like an acne medication.
Xanadu Blood, which is a really dumb name. I'm sorry, Cad Bane.
That is a bizarre.
And honestly,
it's a cool looking ship, though.
It's pretty cool. I could see us getting Cad Bane's other ship too from Bad Batch, the Justifier.
That's what I was going to ask. I'm like, I thought he had a different ship.
That would be cool too.
Yeah, this one looks. The one from Bad Batch looks like it made more sense for a bounty hunter. This one, looks
it's like a fighter size ship.
Fighter.
So,
well, yeah, I mean, what kind of bounty hunter would just get in a starfighter? That would be a really dumb idea. You would think.
And we don't have the translation, but we can see the slots on it. I think its slot there is crew or something. Or maybe Polish uses a lot more words than we would. But I think it would make sense that you don't get as many crew on that. Well, it's a different word than on the Jumpmaster. Who knows? That's all speculation, but we have the pictures.
I am now just picturing a show about Cad Bane caring for Todo 360 after he couldn't, turn him in as a bounty. Seth Green reprising his role.
I'm sure
that could be a new crew. We don't know. What is it? Where's the list?
I like Todo 360, partially because it's so ridiculous that Cad Bane puts up with him.
Yeah,
I forget if they listed. I don't think. Do they list? I guess we know how many contact tokens there are. Is the thing we don't know if they're specifically crew or what. So for contact tokens, there's 11 contact tokens, and there's specifically a new color of contact token.
Orange.
They're like extra hard. So they don't replace any of the existing contacts that come in the core box. These are additional ones that you put each one on a planet instead of taking up a contact slot on the board. They just kind of go on top of the planet. And for sure, some of these are characters that were playable characters in the base game, like Boba Fett and Dr. Aphra. Perhaps all of the playable characters, we don't know. But then there's also some that are not playable characters, like there's definitely Ahsoka Tano. And who knows? But they're supposed to be like extra hard to fight, extra rewarding to capture, stuff like that.
So
yeah, and presumably good crew, if any of them even get to be crew. And reading the rules, it sounds like let's say I'm playing as Hera, and then I look at a contact and it's the Hera contact token. I think the rule is just get rid of it and try a different one.
Yeah.
But what about...
Or if it's, somebody else is playing, I flip over a contact and it's somebody else's character that a different player has, you just kind of ignore it.
What about, since I didn't look through the translations that people put together, the rules myself, but...
Not people. I would like to particularly shout out our buddy Dan, who was so hype he immediately went to translating all of it.
Okay, thank you, Dan. Not just people. But what about for the bounties? Like if I, if I end up getting like a Hera bounty in the bounty deck, and someone's playing Hera, can I go and get the player? Or
you can go, you go attack the player. That's one of the.
There's like special rules for it.
Is adding.
It's not clear because of the translation, but you get like a different reward than what's on the card. Like player rewards are always a certain amount or something.
Because obviously you can't kill or capture another player character, but you can still defeat them in combat, which satisfies the bounty, and then you get like a fame.
Yeah, it was something like 5,000 credits and a fame, and maybe another fame if they're more famous than you. I think it ends up being pretty similar to the Wanted bounty. And the other thing that the rules specifically mention too is you can take your own bounty just to prevent other people from having it. You can't turn yourself in to get the reward, but you can take the card so that other people can't take the card, basically. Like you're hiding the Wanted posters, basically.
Because it does look like we're getting quite a bit more player interaction in this expansion than what is in the base game, because there's really very little player interaction in the base game, which a lot of people I initially had a problem with, and then I played it more and I'm like, this is still amazing. But we might get to that in a second. Let's keep going down the little list here. So there are new planets coming to the game, sort of. It's just the core worlds, which are two little bits you stick on the end of the rim that kind of represent the core worlds. And basically, it lets you hook around the outside. You have to go there, and then you can travel through the core worlds and appear on the other side of the board. But there's risk involved because the core worlds have a higher Imperial presence. If you have a negative reputation with the Empire, when you choose to use hyperspace to go around the outside through the core worlds, you're more likely to run into trouble if you have negative Imperial reputation. Which
very thematic. And it functions through the encounter deck like you would normally do for planets or nav points. Basically, or at least that's what the translated rules made it sound like. You would do one of the encounters on the card is the travel through the core worlds event. So you'll get some random thing that you have to do, and just the way they've written them, most likely you'll be in a lot of trouble if you have a negative Imperial. So, and that makes like so much thematic sense. Some like really wanted bounty hunter or like rebel fugitive, right? They're going to have a hard time traveling on the grid, basically. So
yeah, I think that sounds really cool. And is there... Oh, no, that's the only new, like, map tiles, right? Just the two little camps.
They replace the...
It's not
they kind of add slightly onto the end, just like a couple points, and then let you scoop around.
Yeah, and we mentioned the new orange contact tokens, which includes some people like Ahsoka and then all the other players. And then I wonder who else would be on there. Maybe Maul.
Oh, yeah.
I could see them throwing Maul in there, like Crimson Dawn, Leader Maul. I wonder who else would be.
I mean, it would be cool to get
level.
Some of the people who are new player characters in this game too, who were not at all in the original game. Like, yeah, Enfys Nest, Cad Bane, they would be really cool to have like as extra tough crew options or extra tough bounties. And again, obviously, if you were also playing in that game, then the contact token wouldn't matter. But that you could use them when they're not being played as, that would be really cool. So that could be.
So the two main ways that this game also forces a little bit more player interaction is that some of the like jobs you can get require cooperation. So you might have a job like where before you're trying to run through and do the, find the Jewel of Yavin, and you just go there and you do it with the crew on your ship. Now there might be jobs you find that require you to do it when you're in the space of another player, and then both of you have to pass the skill checks, and then you share in the reward, which could be interesting because people might see you have that cool job and then try and come towards you or run away from you or whatever. And there's other jobs also like the like we mentioned, you'll be able to take out bounties more easily on other players because you'll see those specific characters in the decks. There's jobs that force you to compete with players. So again, you'd need to be on the same planet as them to do your job. And then when you do that, you're basically rolling opposing checks with the other player. So that sounds pretty fun to me. That
there's like
especially because there's
kind of a few encounters or jobs or whatever in the original game where it's like, okay, when you're on the same planet as someone, you can play sabacc against them, but they're like very, very limited. And these sound a lot more interesting. Like you'll both get rewards, I think, on the sort of team up ones, or you'll be competing more strongly for these big rewards probably. And it should be really cool.
And really quick, we've got Patron the Beard 1808 joining us right now. He gets to hang out in the Jodo Cast Plus chat and tell us their thoughts. Ooh, it is. When you join the chat there, it has one of those. Are you of legal age? Like, of course I am. I don't need to prove that. So, we are talking all about Outer Rim, the best game I've never played. So let us know your thoughts, especially on the upcoming expansion. Yes. Ooh.
Presumably, he knows all about it because of our extensive, renowned YouTube videos of us playing them. Another thing that they're adding that I think is really cool is this translated as like favors mode or ambitions or whatever.
There's two new game modes. Favors, I don't know if you can do them both at the same time or they're completely separate or what, but
favors is essentially you just share some token. Kind of, it almost feels like alliance tokens in like different other maybe like heavier strategy games. You go, okay, I'm going to give you this favor token, which means we have like an agreement, or I get a buff based on your powers or something. Whatever, that's cool. I mean, more ways to get players to interact in this game is good. The one that seems more interesting to me is the ambitions. Maybe it translates to something else when it comes out. They get little like sheets, and ordinarily the way you play the game is you just play and you complete things that reward you with money and fame, and once you get to 10 fame, you win. This ambitions now basically has a checklist of objectives that you have to do in addition to getting to that 10 fame, or 8 or 12, depending on if you want a slow or a long game. So basically, okay, now we're not only are we playing a 10 fame, but I have to find rebel sympathizers and find proof of loyalty to the Empire and make contacts in an Imperial planet, whereas you're trying to, smuggle this or do whatever. So you have kind of like a personalized list of objectives that forces you to maybe play in a more thematic way each time, which I think sounds like a cool alternate way to play. Like, okay, I'm going to take the set of missions that makes me go all in on the Empire. And then it was a little harder because it's forcing you to do specific things, whereas before, you might be able to pivot
or just
say, okay,
I'm going to work for all 4 factions all the time, always, and
right.
Yeah, it's like
take whatever job comes along.
Some different strategic things you have to consider instead of just getting fame as fast as possible, which you also have to do. But if you've already played the base game a lot, it sounds like it'll add a lot of interesting strategy to it.
Yeah, and just variety and forcing you to play in different ways, because I've played the game a lot, and you tend to sort of fall into familiar patterns sometimes after a while. One thing I didn't, or maybe I did, because the one thing I always think about in Outer Rim is there's never enough reason to encounter the planet, because each planet has their own deck full of cool things. And there's still a lot of cards in there I never see, because it's almost always more worthwhile to encounter a contact. And why do I think there was something this added that adds more? Like maybe, or maybe it was just those home rules we were brainstorming.
It might have been that. They do add new, or the expansion does add new databank cards. So those are like the missions and the
big numbered ones.
Yeah, and
right?
like the card contacts.
The big numbered ones that the day the game came out, we said, there's a big gap in these numbers. They must come out with an expansion sometime.
So it's going to fill in
and now
at least some of the numbers. The other thing it said is it's even adding more cards that are duplicate numbers. So there's already cards today where you have to draw from one of multiple cards at the same number, but most of them are only one card of that number. Now this is going to add more on the same number, so you're going to have some cards that used to always be one specific thing, and then now it'll be random between maybe 2 things or whatever. They don't really say which, so I don't know if it's like, oh, now Leia has 2 different missions she could give you, or whatever thing, but some of the things
it'll still be a little bit of a variety.
Yeah.
Right, especially for players like me who's played it so many times. I see, okay, I got this mission, I know when I'm doing this, I failed it, let me try it again. Whereas now there's going to just be that much more variety in I think even like when you try and you fail and deliver illegal cargo, I think there's might have been more for that one too. But yeah, I mean, just more variety with the existing cards in addition to new one is cool.
Then the last kind of big new component that was mentioned is there's more AI cards. So there's one AI deck in the core box that lets you like run another player as kind of a bot, and you draw these random cards to have it do some stuff. And so there's more of those cards. It's not super clear to me if it's like one whole new deck or if there's like multiple different ones, but basically you'll be able to run multiple bots now off different decks, and there's like multiple pages of rules for this new deck. So it seems very complicated. It's hard to go off of the translation only, but it seems to be like a bounty hunter focused AI, where instead of kind of like the old one is kind of like, oh, if you can afford a job, get a job. If you have a cargo, you can drop the cargo off. And this one, there's a bunch of rules where it's like, okay, this person will rush around trying to get contacts and chasing you and trying to kill you and all this stuff. So it just sounds like a very different set of bot rules, basically, from the old one, which will probably add a lot of variety and be really interesting. And then it also probably makes like single player play even more fun, because now instead of just one-on-one versus a bot, you could do 1 versus 2 and have these 2 different bots and have a lot more interesting stuff going on. Seems like the rules again are like translated, so kind of a lot of the specifics there depend on. I didn't really want to go through all the translated rules because most of it doesn't really make English sense. But the one really cool thing about that other deck of AI cards is instead of having C-3PO on the back, it has Forlom on the back, so they look cool. I don't know.
I love the icons in this game.
I would really like us to start using some of the terms in this like Google translated doc moving forward. Like in some places it translates core worlds as nuclear worlds.
So the thing that I remembered, because I was reading through a different translation that Dan did before he did the PDF. Page 5 of this PDF didn't translate, which is bugging me because that had the cool stuff I wanted to bring up. There are certain equipment you can pick up. It looks like in this case an astromech droid parts, where it's double-sided. You slot it in one way, and then when you deliver it, you're able to flip it around. So it's basically like you're delivering the parts here. They assemble it for you, and now you have like an astromech droid in your thing. Or some other ones might be like, maybe there's like a... I'm not sure. There's like a thing that's like not complete. You get it somewhere, then you get to flip it, and now it's like a complete thing. And the picture looks like droid parts that turns into a full droid. I'm sure there'll be some other kind of things like that. The other thing is, there's this contact symbol, and why can't I? Where's Dan? He put like a Word doc for us.
Yeah, I didn't save the link to that one. But yeah, it looks like it's in addition to the market deck cards that will move the patrols around the space. This new symbol is on some of the new cards, and it will... Is it flipping contact tokens? Is that what it was, Joe? Or...
Oh, yeah. I found the Word document here. What is it called? Databank, game rules, nuclear planets.
Because the symbol's kind of like a contact token and a player stand and like a range or number or something.
Yeah, it has to do with I think you get to flip a contact within that many spaces of you, but
and that would be nice. Like I found this last weekend when I was playing a bounty hunter, like there's a point where you're needing to take more bounties, but there's like so many out there you need to flip that it's like less of a sure thing than doing cargo or something where you know exactly where to go, you know? So I think some free flips could be really useful.
Yeah. Where is confrontation mission?
Another term I like in this translated document.
Okay, I found it.
That's showing pictures of dice for Boba Fett and Afra, like they're opposing dice rolls, but it says Boba Fett's bones and Afra's bones.
Oh,
we should call dice bones.
Roll the bones.
I mean, some people do. I call them bones sometimes.
I'll just be constantly saying, "Damn it, Leo." I'm a gaming journalist, not a doctor.
So it says, some missions in this expansion allow the players to complete attempts to take credits or resources from another player. Oh, wait, sorry, that's the wrong one. Contact discovery symbol. So most of the trade cards in the expansion have that contact discovery symbol. So, like with the patrol movement, after a thing has been purchased and that symbol is revealed, then it happens. So let's see. There's
I assume that
I'm trying to read this, but then retranslate.
The number must be like the range away from you that you can flip a contact.
The number of so when such a symbol is played, and the number of players is within the specified range.
Oh, okay.
What is the symbol? Okay. So that's because I suppose that's the player.
So it says 1 to 2 on this symbol. So apparently, and then I see one that says 1 to 3. Okay, so if you flip it up and you've got 4 players, you just ignore that symbol. Apparently, this must be a way to balance it for different.
I suppose
numbers.
because if there's 4 players,
right? So.
Yeah, when there's more players, you're getting more contacts revealed.
That's cool.
It says the player does not play immediately encounters with exposed contact, although he may do so during the meeting phase of your... I think it just lets you flip a thing, because that sentence was too garbled.
Yeah.
Additional explanations about contact. If a player reveals a contact that matches the character one of the players, remove this contact from the game and then reveal another one. Okay, that's what we said earlier. If I'm playing Boba and you flip a Boba token, you just remove it and do another one. If the player's not on the planet when he's playing a contact discovery symbol, nothing happens. Oh, so if you've bought a thing and you happen to not be on a planet, nothing happens.
So it's got to be... So you got to flip on the planet you're on.
Yeah, it just lets you immediately, check out who's hanging out there.
Still, not bad. What about the what does it say about the little arrow symbol on some of the
the little gray pointing up thing?
Yeah.
I don't know if that means it's one of the flippable.
Oh, that's the that's referring to that when I mentioned where the card flips after you've met a certain requirement. That's instructing you which end pokes out first.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sure. It's hard to tell what the top is otherwise. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I got it.
I'm just very excited to see all of the new missions and jobs and bounties and all of these things and the new contact tokens. And we do know some of the player abilities, I believe.
Yeah, for sure. Dan or someone translated Black Chrysanthemum's text. And I think it was something like when you're damaged, when you have damaged on you, you do bonus damage or something like that, right? I think is what it was.
Yeah. I think Black Chrysanthemum rewarded you for
sort of a battle rage
and lets you hurt yourself. Dengar, it's easier because some of them are
there's FAQ items that hint at some of the things too.
Dengar has a damage reduction ability. It looks like it's probably if he has a weapon, he gets to reduce damage. So you want to gear him up. And then Cad
something
Bane,
about gaining extra fame.
It definitely looks like he must have a way to get fame because it also says things that would give him extra fame
conflicts with his thing or something.
Yeah, because it says his ability reduces extra fame, so he must have either some really good ability or just one that gives him extra fame in a different way. But that means he doesn't get to take advantage of proton torpedoes or the Mandalorian armor or whatever.
And Hondo, something about Hondo supply. There's not enough info there. I don't know. Maybe Hondo has equipment or cargo or something that he's marking with tokens. I don't know. Those are the main ones that have.
I wonder what broken hand. That sounds like a translation of something else. Because there's a list of cards that says, if you receive any of these cards and you don't have an empty slot of the correct type, you have to discard another one to free up that slot for this card. So there's some cards that you have to take no matter what, apparently.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. They're cursed quest cards or cursed items or something. I don't know. Broken hand, encrypted message, priority shipment, structured damage. Yeah, it makes it seem like it's something that you have to equip. It's forced onto you. Your ship, maybe your structured damage, structural damage, maybe. Your ship takes,
that does,
it breaks one of your slots, maybe. I don't know. That's just a complete guess.
Yeah. And looking at Hondo's very little, it says objective tokens placed on
the Honda supply. He has his own.
His Accord or his CRV.
The official vehicle of the Jodo
remain on the cards, yes. Even if Hondo turns his character over.
The Honda Onaka. So it sounds like he maybe gets extra storage for goods or something. I would expect his special ability and or goal is related to cargo.
Oh, okay. Here's another tidbit I just noticed. There is going to be a Lando crew, so he must be one of the new orange tokens. There's a little FAQ item about encountering Lando. When you play Land's encounter card, you can immediately use his ability to reroll the die. If you throw an empty wall during his encounter, and Lando's the only member of your crew, you must discard him. So,
what?
Who knows what that really means?
Are we playing? Are we playing Magic the Gathering all of a sudden? You play a land, you get hit by a wall, tap for 2. Carry on. Oh, I was gonna say, I don't think we'll ever see this, but I would love it if the 2 employees of Onaka Shipping Corporation that you hear while you're in the queue at Smuggler's Run, I want those 2 jokers to become cards or whatever for Hondo's team.
I'm surprised they didn't. I feel like Batu would be a good location for this game. I mean, it's in the Outer Rim.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I could see them doing. I don't know if you could do it as an expansion, but like a whole new Outer Rim core box that's set in the sequels, and it has like Batu and Dakar. I guess we already have Takodana in this game, but you could still have it.
And you can play as.
And Cantonica.
Yeah, that's in this one too.
Saidani Thano.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
And you could have like Vi Marani and like a bunch of cool people, right?
I mean,
different factions.
And what's the the space station that was in
Starkiller Base?
No, Resistance.
Oh, the
Monolith or something.
Not the Goliath.
Not the Titan.
The Leviathan.
The Biggie.
Is it the Goliath?
Not the Leviathan.
Oh my.
No.
You know what we're saying.
Kazuda.
But I guess it would be hard to decide if they should go full sequel or I mean they might try to do it in like the Mandalorian era more, right? Like pre-First Order era, 'cause like that's probably more popular.
Because then you could kind of you wouldn't have to change the factions. You wouldn't have to adjust the factions.
I got it.
What?
Colossus.
Colossus.
Right. It's Shadow looming.
That would be a great
fastball special station.
I think that'd be a perfect addition to a sequel expansion because it could move along the space line too.
Yeah.
My dream spin-off of Outer Rim is just take a game and put it in, take the game, the formula, the mechanics, put it in High Republic. Don't make it a Rim, even though Outer Rim is the main domain of the story so far. It doesn't have to be a Rim. Could have a more
I was thinking it'd be kind of cool to sort of have like basically the same gameplay mechanics, but on a bigger map, like the Rebellion map, kind of. Or
yeah, and you play as Jedi who, instead of running around trying to get famous, are running around trying to stop the Nile, stop the Drengir, and help, people in need. Basically, same thing. It's just different theme, and you'd have different stuff, force powers somehow. Maybe be running away from the Nameless.
Yep, I think you've got it. That sounds more like a Pandemic / Arkham Horror style game where you're running around the map trying to slap down, put down the disease, get rid of the eldritch corruption before it spreads, things like that. But instead it's Drengir and Nile, which wouldn't be a bad game. I would play it.
I mean, yeah, that sounds cool. Especially, you got they're spreading along the planets. You're trying to contain them, and they pop up out of nowhere sometimes. And then you get like a little break, and you go to the Republic Fair, and then surprise. The only other thing that I want out of this is Chris and Dan the two I play Outer Rim with a lot, really want me to get this game early. So I need to find, because we don't have contacts at Fantasy Flight anymore, and I need to re-find them and be like, what do you think? You give me a review copy early. I've done more publicity for your game than anyone. I can't prove it.
Who else? Who else has been pushing FFG, I guess Asmodee too, sad as that is, but FFG specifically more than us? And from a very inclusive perspective, not a like, okay everybody, get out your Excel spreadsheet for X-Wing and your secret decoder ring this week. We're going to figure out the next big changes to the meta. Because that's not inclusive. I'm sorry, it's not. Of course, now we got to recalibrate all of our lists, but that was a different week. I'm still thinking about that to this day.
I also want a chopper crew card.
Yes, please.
Sorry. I just looked at my camera and saw chopper behind me, and I was like, I need that.
Well, now that they're going to have Hera playable, I could see it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, there's like a bunch of Rebels characters that would be cool crew. Like, not just the main cast. Like, Sabine obviously has done like bounty hunting and stuff too. She could be like a character or a crew.
But how many... Because we're only getting one contact per existing planet. Mm-hmm. So that's how many new contacts we could get. So I wonder how many... There's not that many planets.
Yeah,
like
it says
12,
that there's
14?
11 orange crew or contact tokens. And there's 8 players in the base game. So if those all are a new crew, then that would leave 3 that are not existing players.
So then there's Ahsoka, and then 2 more,
and those could be like new players for all we know.
Yeah, and I mean, if one is Ahsoka, I'm just gonna take a wild guess and say, okay, we've got a Rebel, then we're gonna also want an Imperial, and we're gonna want a Scummy. So I don't know, maybe it'd be
Moff Gideon.
I mean, they already have Thrawn, so I don't know. Yeah. Baby Moff Gideon? How old is he? Because we assume this game takes place around... it's in the
more than 5 years before A New Hope, less than 10 years before A New Hope, right? Somewhere in that range. Moff Gideon...
I mean, yeah,
he was an adult during the Siege of Mandalore, or whatever of Mandalore. I don't know. He's fine.
I mean, yeah. He'd be like in his 20s like in his prime. Or something.
Or you could have Krennic, I don't know, like, or an Inquisitor.
Oh yeah, I mean they're bringing. I feel like we're ignoring all the Rogue One stuff because they're bringing Enfys Nest and Jyn and Saw and K2 are already in the game. Why not? 2
tubes.
Yeah, Krennic or. Oh yeah, I'm curious if he's in the game.
In your video, you thought he would be, but I'm not so sure.
I'll be curious to see a higher res.
Yeah,
of the
better
side
look
of
at the art
to see if he is. Yeah,
you do love that side of the box.
It was a good side. I built my career on that side of the box.
That's right. Is there any room for Paul Bettany to be?
No,
in the
game? He's dead.
As I'm looking up at my solo picture.
This is post solo.
Okay. I guess it is.
Yeah.
Stuck in a certain point in time.
Yeah,
then,
because
yes.
I mean, we know it's post solo because both Lando and Han are wearing Solo clothes, but they've aged enough to where they have their original trilogy faces, which I still think is a very odd design choice.
Yes, it is very odd.
I remember us talking about that when the game was first announced, and we were like, "What?
Yep.
Why?" I don't know. I feel like it's it's really kind of like shitting on Donald Glover and
Alden Ehrenreich.
Alden.
Yeah, Alden Ehrenreich. Yeah. by them doing that, but whatever.
And you don't?
Huh?
That's all you do. And we mentioned that movie, you're like, I hate it.
I never shit on either of them. I just say I complain about the movie. I think like Donald Glover's performance as Lando was great. I think, what's his face is
Ron Howard
as Solo. He was
to blame.
Fine. I didn't mind either of them. It's just the whole movie is just boring as hell and completely forgettable.
I can't wait for us to. It is the next in our list of commentaries because every time I watch that movie, I like it more. And I can't believe you've only seen it the one time. That's crazy.
Yeah, I saw it the one time in the theater and spent at least the last half of it checking the time on my phone, wondering how much was left. Because I was just not into it at all. So yeah, maybe I'll dig it more the second time. We'll see.
I hope so.
When I saw it, I was like, you'll also have something to drink too. Yeah.
It wasn't a bad movie. I mean, I just didn't get into it. I didn't care for it. It was still better than Phantom Menace. So it was still better than Rise of Skywalker. It's got that going for it.
The last thing I think we need to mention, because I don't think we have, is the website had a release date, right?
Yeah.
Was it quarter 2?
Supposedly.
2022?
Yeah, so
March, April, May, June.
Could share
June. Sorry, June 2022 is what it says.
Yeah, well, isn't that what they said for what's it called? For Shadow Collective also, so could be an expensive month.
Not if they mail it to me for free in May. Steve Horvath.
All right, the ball's in your court. Asmodee, Fantasy Flight.
Embracer.
I owe it to Chris and Dan to reach out and beg for a early copy. Gotta figure out who to whine to. Are you muted, Evan?
I mean,
there was.
We did get that. But we did manage to get that review copy of the Rebellion expansion.
Unsolicited, too, if I recall. They just kind of sent it. So,
and several copies of the Age of Rebellion beginner game.
Yeah. That good period of 1 month where they were giving us free stuff to work with. 5-6 years ago, whenever that was. The glory days of the Jodo cast.
Well, we know Steve Horvath sees our Twitters. Maybe you should just start tweeting out at him, Joe.
I mean, I might as well just say, hey, Steve, who do I contact to...
Yeah.
Promise a good review. Who cares? Just go hard.
I got no integrity.
We solemnly swear to never say anything bad about Asmodee ever again.
But only Asmodee, not the companies they own.
Hey, I love Edge Studios. That's all I'll say. Well, it sounds, by the deafening silence, as though we've used up all of our ammunition for the night. And I have to double check and make sure I'm not just talking to myself on mute again.
Sounds like a euphemism there, Evan.
Check myself, make sure I'm not talking to myself.
Spent all our ammunition for the night.
Oh, you think everything's a euphemism because it is. All right.
After you get in the old red and yellow, sometimes you just gotta spend all your ammo.
Yeah, just gotta go to the old euphemism.
Talking about Outer Rim has left us just completely spent.
Everyone has to dump their cargo sometimes. Do you think I had a choice? I'm sorry. I worked really hard at that one. I
liked it. I was trying to follow up on it, and I got stumbled. I stumbled on it. I was gonna. There's something
The
about
side of an
Imperial.
Imperial cruiser.
Yeah,
Hey, yeah, the sight of an Imperial cruiser. you gotta
get a
dump your
load of
load
that
sometime.
Imperial. I'd drop my load of cargo for that Imperial cruiser.
I dropped that for $1. That made no sense at all. All right, but I've got to thank Leo and Joe and Kurt and patrons joining us in chat tonight and around the world. Anybody have anything else? I feel like I don't want to cut anyone off too soon, but at the same time, a good send-off is better than a okay, anybody else? So
I
anybody
got
else?
nothing but excitement and hope.
I'm ready
in my
for
heart.
some fresh outer rim jobs.
Cut. That's the end right there.